This is the incredible story of Moses, Pharaoh, and the epic battle for freedom that showcases faith, courage, and God's unstoppable will. It all kicks off not in a fancy palace, but in the rugged wilderness. Moses, once a prince of Egypt, is now just a humble shepherd when he stumbles upon something wild. A bush on fire, but not burning up. Out of this blazing wonder, a voice calls to him. It's God, who's seen the suffering of his people, the Israelites, trapped in slavery in Egypt for 400 long years. He's heard their cries and has a plan to set them free. And guess what? He's picked Moses, a guy filled with doubt about himself, to deliver the message. God's instruction is clear yet monumental. Go to Pharaoh and tell him, "Let my people go." Imagine the weight of that task. Moses had to go back to the land he ran from, face the king he grew up with, and demand freedom for a whole nation of slaves who were basically the backbone of Egypt's economy. Moses felt totally overwhelmed. He asked, "Who am I to go to Pharaoh?" He struggled to speak and was a fugitive, having lost everything. But God reminded him, "I'll be right there with you." Isn't that reassuring? He gives him miraculous signs to perform. His staff will turn into a serpent, his hand will become leprous, and then clean again. And he gives him a partner, his eloquent brother Aaron, to be his spokesman. Bolstered by this divine promise, Moses and Aaron journey back to Egypt, ready to deliver God's message. The first confrontation is tense. They stand in the opulent throne room of Pharaoh, a man considered a god on earth, and deliver the audacious demand. Pharaoh's response is one of pure arrogance and disdain. "Who is the Lord?" He scoffs, "that I should obey his voice and let Israel go. I do not know the Lord, and moreover, I will not let Israel go." Not only does he refuse, but he punishes the Israelites for this insolent request, increasing their workload, forcing them to make bricks without straw. Their suffering intensifies, and their hope begins to fade. They even turn on Moses, blaming him for making their situation worse. Moses, heartbroken, returns to God. "O Lord, why have you brought trouble upon this people?" It's a cry of despair that many of us can relate to. But God's response is one of reassurance and power. He tells Moses, "Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh." The stage is set. This is no longer just a negotiation between men. It is a cosmic showdown between the God of the Hebrews and the pantheon of Egyptian deities. A battle to answer Pharaoh, ese defiant question. Who is the Lord? What follows is a terrifying and systematic dismantling of everything Egypt holds dear. The 10 plagues. Each plague is not a random catastrophe. It's a direct surgical strike against a specific Egyptian god, demonstrating the utter powerlessness of Pharaoh's idols in the face of the one true God. The first plague, the Nile River, the lifeblood of Egypt and worshipped as the god Hapi, turns to blood. The fish die. Their water becomes undrinkable, a direct assault on the source of Egypt's life. Yet, Pharaoh's heart remains hard. Then come the frogs, a symbol of the goddess Hecate. They swarm the land, infesting every home, from the palace to the poorest hut. Pharaoh briefly relents, asking Moses to pray for their removal. But once the frogs are gone, his pride returns and he hardens his heart again. The plagues escalate. Gnats, then swarms of flies, torment the Egyptians, while the land of God, where the Israelites live, is miraculously spared, a clear sign of God's divine protection over his people. Then, a devastating plague strikes the livestock, killing the Egyptians' cattle, horses, and donkeys. A blow against gods like Hathor and Apis, the bull god. Still, Pharaoh does not yield. Boils afflict the Egyptian people, even Pharaoh's own magicians, who can no longer stand before Moses. Then comes the most terrifying plague yet. Hail mixed with fire rains down from the sky, destroying crops and everything left in the fields. It's a storm of unprecedented fury. Pharaoh seems to break, admitting, "I have sinned this time. The Lord is in the right, and I and my people are in the wrong." But once again, as soon as the storm ceases, his repentance vanishes like the morning mist. Locusts follow, devouring whatever the hail had left, turning Egypt from a lush paradise into a barren wasteland. Then a profound darkness descends, a thick, tangible darkness that lasts for 3 days. The Egyptians are paralyzed in their homes, unable to see a thing. This is a direct challenge to their most powerful god, Ra, the sun god. In the midst of this terrifying blackout, the Israelites have light in their dwellings. The message couldn't be clearer. After 9 plagues, 9 demonstrations of overwhelming power, Pharaoh remains stubborn. He makes a final, furious threat to Moses. "Get away from me. Take care never to see my face again. For on the day you see my face, you shall die." Moses' reply is chilling and final. "As you say, I will not see your face again." God then gives Moses instructions for the 10th and final plague, the one that will finally break the chains of bondage. This plague will also be the birth of a sacred tradition. Every Israelite family is to take a perfect, unblemished lamb, slaughter it, and paint its blood on the doorposts of their homes. They are to roast and eat the lamb in haste, with their sandals on and their staffs in hand, ready to leave at a moment's notice. This meal is the Passover, for God says, "I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you." That night, a dreadful cry echoes throughout Egypt. In every Egyptian household, from the palace of Pharaoh to the dungeon of the prisoner, the firstborn son is dead. There is not a house without loss. But in Goshen, behind the blood-stained doors, the Israelites are safe. The angel of death has passed over them, shattered by grief. Pharaoh finally surrenders. He summons Moses and Aaron in the middle of the night and utters the words they have been waiting to hear. "Up, go out from among my people, and go, serve the Lord, as you have said. Take your flocks and your herds, and be gone." The great empire of Egypt, broken and mourning, not only releases its slaves, but urges them to leave, lavishing them with gold, silver, and clothing, just as God had promised. After 430 years, the children of Israel are finally free. Their journey is not over. It has just begun. As the massive column of former slaves, hundreds of thousands of them, marches into the wilderness, led by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, Pharaoh has one last change of heart. His grief turns to rage. "What is this we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" He marshals his army, his 600 best chariots, and pursues them. The Israelites find themselves trapped. The sea is before them, the desert is on either side, and the dust cloud of Pharaoh's approaching army is behind them. Fear turns to panic. They cry out to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die?" But Moses, the once hesitant shepherd, now stands as a pillar of faith. He tells the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then, as commanded by God, Moses stretches his hand out over the sea. A mighty east wind blows all night long, and the impossible happens. The waters of the Red Sea part, creating a dry path through the middle of the ocean, with walls of water on their right and on their left. The Israelites walk through on dry ground. The Egyptian army, blinded by their pursuit, follows them into the seabed. Once the last Israelite is safely on the other side, Moses again stretches out his hand. The walls of water collapse. The sea returns to its full force, swallowing Pharaoh, sentir army, his chariots, his horsemen, his pride. The mighty force that had enslaved the nation for centuries is wiped out in an instant. On the far shore, the Israelites watch as the bodies of their former masters wash up on the sand. They are not just freed, they are delivered. They see the great power the Lord has displayed, and they put their faith in Him and in His servant Moses. The story of "Let my people go" is more than an ancient account. It's a timeless testament to the idea that freedom is a divine gift worth fighting for, that faith can move mountains and parseas, and that no earthly power can ultimately stand against the will of God. It's a promise that even in our darkest moments of bondage, whether literal or metaphorical, a voice is ready to cry out for our liberation. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. If this story moved you, please give this video a like, and do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss our next exploration into the greatest stories ever told. We'll see you next time.